NFL legend Tom Brady announcing his family dog is actually a clone. Take a look at this. On the left is Brady walking his beloved dog Lua, who passed away in 2023. And on the right is Junie, Lua's replica. But this isn't the first time a celebrity pet has been cloned. Paris Hilton and Barbra Streisand have both taken advantage of the innovative DNA technology. The companies responsible for the cloning are Viagen and Colossal Biosciences, which was also behind the viral resurrection of the dire wolf. Joining us now is Andrew Pask. He's Chief Biology Officer at Colossal Biosciences. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us tonight. So first, can you walk our viewers through this in as simplest terms as possible?
Yeah, so the cloning process, you can take blood from your beloved pet. You can also do this from endangered species. It's the same technology that we would use to help bring back extinct species as well. And then you can actually derive cells from that blood, and you can use that to then generate a whole nother living copy of that animal through this process of cloning. And Viagen, the company which Colossal has just joined forces with, is really the best company in the world at being able to use this technology to recreate both people's pets, but also critically endangered species and bring them back as well. It really is an incredibly powerful technology for really helping rescue a lot of species on our planet, and for recreating some of these beloved animals. On
the issue of DNA and people's beloved pets, do you need hair, blood sample? I mean, how does it work?
Yeah, so you can do it from skin samples, hair samples, blood samples, anywhere where you can get a living cell, and then you can use that cell to then make a full other copy of that animal. But any cell will do.
That's pretty incredible. So Tom Brady approaches your company to create his new pet. He talked to people about this. How did that come about?
Yeah, I think this was an animal that his whole family felt really deeply connected to. He has connections to Colossal Biosciences already. He knew that we were doing this kind of work. And so when before that beloved pet died, he had actually collected some blood. So we had this cellular repository. We had the material that you needed to clone it. And then the decision was made, at some point after that, that they really would love another of that dog to be back and join their family again. I think,
yeah, the dog is genetically the same, but what about the personality?
Yeah, that's something that happens every time when you go through this process. So genetically, absolutely identical. But there's obviously things that happen when you're raising an animal and, with the family and, experiences that they have that can change a bit about the way that animal behaves. So never completely exactly the same, but I think you wouldn't really want that anyway. Each one's got their own unique little, quirks and things.
But Andrew, do people tell you, hey, they're similar, they remind me of each other besides the way they look?
Yeah, there's a lot of behavior that's actually pre-programmed, even in our DNA. And so, yeah, they are very, very, very similar in the way that they behave, look, all of the things, as you would expect. Same as identical twins, right, and humans have very, very similar.
So if you have some DNA from your beloved pet, the big question is, after you have that, how much does this all cost?
Yeah, hopefully that's something now with the new acquisition with Colossal that we can work on, maybe, the pricing for this. But it's not a cheap process. It's something that you really have to commit to. If you truly, truly love that animal, it's gonna cost a fair bit of money. But it is, it's a big process to go through to actually recreate these animals.
Andrew, you're on top story here. I'm gonna have to press you here. A fair bit of money. Are we talking tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1 million bucks?
No, under hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think tens of thousands of dollars is a more accurate figure.
Okay. And how does one apply for this? How do you get your beloved goldfish or your dog? How do you get them back into this world?
So you can contact Viagen. There is the website now that you can see. There's actually a newly launched website actually as of yesterday after the acquisition. And you can actually apply through there. They can help you collect the cells that you need to do this. And, they talk to you about the entire process.
Do you think this is going to become more mainstream?
Yeah, I think it will become a lot cheaper to do it in the future. I think it's still an individual decision, right, whether people really want to clone their pet and bring that exact one back as opposed to getting a different animal. But yeah, I think it is definitely something that we'll get much, much more efficient at, will become much more commonplace. And I think we'll see it being applied more to the conservation side, really to helping extinct species, to helping critically endangered species, increasing their animal number, bringing back them. I think that's where we'll see a really, amazing application application of this technology in the future.
Are there any ethical guidelines? I know you guys do have ethical guidelines, but I mean, for people that want to clone pets, does the pet have to have passed away, or can the pet still be alive?
You can still do it if you have a living animal. Yeah, there's nothing to stop that process from happening. But yeah, I think, everything is very strictly governed by, the standard set of ethics that are applied to all this kind of work and research, for sure.
Where do you think the line is going to be drawn? Do you think it just stops with animals, or do you think this eventually gets to a place where we're talking about humans?
There's been a lot of other countries in the past that have talked about, trying to do human cloning. We certainly understand a lot more about humans and doing this technology in humans than we do anything else. But obviously, it's that moral stop and the ethical stop is why we don't do this stuff in humans.
Yeah, and then you talked about extinct animals. I mean, I can remember reading Jurassic Park in 7th grade. Is that going to be a reality? One day, will we go to a place where you're going to see dinosaurs?
Well, there's no DNA left in dinosaurs. So that's the sad thing about dinosaurs. Going back that far, 60 million years, the DNA is really destroyed. But for much more contemporary species, things like the direwolf, the mammoth, the thylacine, Tasmanian tiger, the dodo, they're all species that Colossal is working on. They're all ones that we actually have really good DNA for. And so, yeah, we absolutely will be able to bring them back.
Explain it to me again, because obviously I'm not a science guy. How can you get it for the mammoth but not the dinosaur? And obviously the length of time, but like what type of DNA for the mammoth do you guys have?
Yeah, so luckily mammoths died pretty much in the freezer, right? They died in these very cold regions of the planet where they have stayed frozen. That actually preserves the DNA really well. If you can read that entire DNA code, that is the blueprint on how to build your animal. And that DNA code will sit around for a few thousand years, maybe even 100,000 or beyond years. You can still get that code. But dinosaurs being back 60 million is too far for us to be able to read that genetic code. So we can't de-extinct dinosaurs by replicating their DNA, but you can do that for much more recently extinct species. But recently, as in still, hundreds of thousands of years ago.
Have you gotten any strange requests about animals or pets that you had to say, I don't think this is right for us?
There's a lot of people that will reach out with their very precious pets. So, people are very keen to do this. There's a lot of work that's being done, in very expensive horses and cattle. Some of these animals are worth an awful, huge amount of money. And so being able to clone those animals can be massively beneficial for agriculture, for the racing industry, for any of those sorts of businesses. So, yeah, there's a lot of strange requests that come for a lot of different animal species. And we're trying to figure out these methods for as many species as possible so that we can apply this for conservation, but then also for cloning animals from a whole broad range of different species. Is
there a waiting list? And once you get on the list, how long does it take?
I don't think the waiting list is that long. I think it's only, they're pretty efficient at Vigen. They're very good at making these animals. So this is really their core business.
All right, Andrew Pask, we love talking to you. I'm sure we're going to talk again when the next pet comes out. We thank you for your time. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.